seen on Fox. It's down by Sheridan. Snippet on the shot clock. Rose looking to penetrate. Kelly gets a good look at the hoop from DC.
I have never seen anything like this in my life.
And run into this match, and trust for enjoying our coverage right
The
away.
most unbelievable finish you have seen for some time.
I can watch that one 10 more times.
Round 16 of the National Basketball League continues here on Fox Sports with a one-off spectacular from the Burswood Dome in Perth as the Wildcats do battle with the Melbourne Tigers in front of what we anticipate is going to be a franchise record home crowd, approaching 9,000, the biggest basketball event in Australia this year and last, if you count that as well, and we are certainly looking forward to it. Hello everyone, I'm John Casey. Great to have you with us, and a special hello to the viewers taking this match live through ESPN Star in Asia, through China, Korea and other places. We understand upwards of 100 million people will be joining us, and you've got a good one. Two of the heavyweights of the Australian basketball scene, the four-time champion Perth Wildcats and the two-time champion Melbourne Tigers. Both in the playoff hunt at the moment, but an important one for them. And Steve Carfino, who was runner-up for the MVP in this league some years ago, we're very excited about the atmosphere. It's cooking.
It sure is, and both of these teams are starting to play some good basketball. We're used to seeing the Perth Wildcats up on top of the ladder. The Melbourne Tigers, always at the business end of the year, they start to come good, and that's what they're doing. Dave Thomas is really giving them that extra punch that they need.
And of course, Perth have retooled as well, adding Andrew Rise, who's returned from Italy, a former Australian junior captain. He looks like a good fit for them.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you're seeing the good teams doing that as we get towards the playoffs. They know they have to beef up, especially in the big man department. You see the Brisbane Bullets do it, Wade Helliwell. And so the Perth Wildcats holding suit as well. They're starting to play good basketball, and just to add a big body like that, a capable body like Andrew Rice, who can hit the three and also can grab double-figure boards in limited minutes.
Well, it's going to be some great talent on show. A number of Australian representatives, former and current. Australia's best Andrew Gaze as well. But let's look at how the Perth Wildcats are going to start this round 16 clash.
And they will go with a very, very big and tough lineup. They'll go with Matty Burston, who's starting to show the form that he had last year in his breakout season. Tony Ronaldson is starting to show some form as well. As a matter of fact, he did an excellent job against Ben Knight in that matchup they had against the Wollongong Hawks. Rashad Tucker, a triple-double waiting to happen. For the backcourt of the Perth Wildcats, Ricky Amazing Grace, as he starts to pour it on at the business end of the season. Always seems to start slow, but he's coming good. And James Harvey, not just a shooter, he's pulling down boards and really dishing out some sweet assists.
Well, not too many players are familiar with this venue as a playing strip for the NBL, but Tony Ronaldson, as he played here for the Magic 10 years ago, had a game-high 32 and 9 boards when the Southeast Melbourne Magic defeated Perth. And now, after all the problems Perth have had, a new coach this season, a number of roster changes, he says they are finally coming together.
I think that if you're to look at the last 5 or 6 games compared to the previous 5 or 6, just the little 1%ers, you know, that have really mattered. And last week we didn't play that great against Wollongong, who are, you know, one of the form teams of the league, but we just knew we just ground it out and got the victory, which is important at this stage of the season.
Well, the Melbourne Tigers should be well known to many of our viewers through China. They have some great support coming from there, their naming rights sponsor. And there's Mark Bradkey, voted number 4 all-time in terms of the best players in Australia, and Andrew Gaze at number 1. But let's have a look at their lineup, because they too have their injury problems. Still no Mil Mottram, who did not make the trip. Dave Thomas, the Canadian international who played at the World Championship. Bradkey, a multiple Olympian. And Stephen Hoare, who's been one of the big improvers in the NBL this season. And their backcourt, well, Leonard Copeland and Andrew Gaze are the dynamic duo who have delighted fans through Australia for the past 13 seasons that Leonard's been in the country. Andrew's going strong in his 21st season in the NBL. But Dave Thomas, who I spoke about, well, he played at the World Championships for Canada, a late arrival this season for the Melbourne Tigers after previously being employed by the now defunct Canberra Cannons. He says his personal form and the team form of the Tigers is just starting to gel.
It's such a dynamic team because we have so many different guys to go to, and we find that if we have 5 guys in double figures, and you know, Hoagie and Steeple and myself with double rebounds, then we usually win, and that's what we're aiming to do tonight in order to beat the Wildcats.
Well, Dave Thomas will be exciting, and Rashad Tucker's always exciting, but those two on the floor, Steve, we've got a lot of fireworks to look forward to.
Those guys have the knack of knowing what to do on the night, whether it's rebounding or getting steals defensively. They're very big, so they're very versatile, can guard a few different positions, but they're also capable of scoring, especially Rashad Tucker. He can really get it done. He can fill it up from the three-point line. Also has no trouble skating into the lane of any defense. Dave Thomas more on the glass and more in just his work ethic and his long body.
And for the coach of the Wildcats, Mike Ellis, a three-time club champion. He played 300 games, a rocky start as a coach, but now it's starting to come together for his lineup, and he's getting excited as we head toward the playoffs.
Yeah, it is. It's huge, you know, and that's the problem. We've got to make sure that the momentous occasion that's happening out here doesn't take away from the focus, which is the game. You know, I'm trying to insulate the guys from it as much as humanly possible, but it is a very, very big game for us, for both teams. You know, we get this game, Tigers end up on the same amount of losses as we are, so it's very important. They're one up right now. We'd like to tie it up and give us a chance to get the split when we go back to Melbourne.
Yes, the Melbourne Tigers beat Perth by 17 points across town here at Challenge Stadium back in October. The changes they've made to both teams make that result largely negligible coming into this game. And Lindsay Gay's the doyen of Australian basketball, former Olympian as a player and a coach, and has done so much for the Melbourne Tigers. They hold down 5th spot at the moment, but he thinks there's still some improvement in his side, and they are still coming together, but it is good at the moment.
Well, I think it's a factor for both teams that they've got all of their people in place, and their roles are being sorted out and developing that instinctive play as compared to mechanical play that Perth were doing early in the season when they were still trying to sort out themselves, new coach, new players, a couple of injuries. Now that all of those things are resolved, they're a much stronger team now than they were at the start of the year.
Well, the Perth Wildcats go as Amazing Grace goes, Ricky Grace, and these are his numbers versus the Tigers this year. Averages just over 20 points a game, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, and those are his career stats, so he beefs it up against the Tigers. This is a team that he enjoys playing against. Those are his numbers career-wise, 18, 7, and 4. So Ricky Grace feels very comfortable against the Tigers.
What a career he's had, Ricky Grace. Voted number 9 all-time in terms of the best players in the National Basketball League here in Australia. And we're fortunate to have Andrew Gaze and Mark Bradke, who are 1st and 4th respectively in this match as well. Impression that the Wildcats, well, they are just under a little bit of pressure with this enormous crowd, and let's enjoy the atmosphere.
Let's get your starting five out onto the court, and we'll start first of all with the Melbourne Tigers and the man who won't confirm it just yet, but it could be his last time in Perth. Let's hear it for one of the greatest basketballers to ever play in Australia, number 10, Andrew Gaze. 21, the very talented Leonard Copeland. 32, Dave Thomas. 33, Stephen Hoare. And number 50, the veteran, the big fella, Mark Bradke. A legend of the Wildcats, Mr. Andrew.
Great atmosphere here at the Burswood Dome in Perth. The Wildcats and the Melbourne Tigers set to rumble, and Andrew Vlahoff, now a co-owner of the Perth Wildcats, along with former NBA star Luke Longley, is going to be making a special presentation to his long-time adversary, and a great man here in Australian basketball, Andrew Gaze. It could be the last time that he makes the trip west. We don't know whether he'll be with us again next season in terms of a playing capacity. I'd like to think that he will be. Certainly Andrew Vlahoff, he has done a lot for basketball in this country as well. He played 350 NBL games, but Andrew Gaze is closing in on the all-time record here in Australia. More than 500 NBL appearances and a great theatre for the Melbourne Tigers and the Wildcats to do battle here, Steve.
Well, I think it's, if he wants to retire, it'd be on his terms, because he is still at the top of his playing. Maybe not at the peak, but he is definitely not on a downward spiral. He is still capable of dropping 30 on you. He's still capable of having that 15, 20-point quarter. So if that's what he wants to do, then so be it. But the game isn't forcing him out, that's for sure.
Let's hope he's here for a lot longer. Fans get to their feet. The benches for both teams. Well, Perth are allowed to play 12 because of being the home team. They get good depth off the bench. Andrew Rice is the new face. John Jackson will see good minutes, and likewise Ben Thompson. For the Melbourne Tigers, well, no Neil Mottram, but Darryl McDonald, Tharlo Green and David Smith will see extended court time ahead of Corletto and McMillan.
Case, this place is rocking.
Back to the glory days of the NBL in Australia, with crowds approaching 15. We haven't got that many here in Perth, but they are generating some noise as we get underway. And the Perth Wildcats, working to the right of your screen, have controlled the tip. Will get first use of the ball in this pumped-up atmosphere from the Burswood Dome. It's Rashad Tucker, a very lively customer who penetrates. Can't finish it early. Burston snatches an offensive rebound. Scoring underway for Perth.
That's what he does best. He is on the spot. He has a great knack for where the ball is going to go, and he work ethic, and he's strong.
Leading Dave Thomas and Mark Radke to the rebound. Here's Andrew Gaze sneaking back door for the 1 millionth time in his career to get Melbourne Tigers underway.
You know he's going to do it, but still he has the ability, and his teammates know exactly where to throw it.
Great lob pass in for Ronaldson, and just backs it to Burston with an excellent play. Matthew Burston, most improved player in the country last season, is on to the free throw line.
2 shots to Matty Burston.
Boy, that's a pass that was tough to reel in by Tony Ronaldson. Good heads-up play to tip it to Matty Burston. That is an experienced player knowing where the help is coming from. Because you know where the help's coming from and the rotation's coming from, you can hit the open man.
Burston had a quiet game against Melbourne back in October, where he finished with only 6 points. He has all 4 of Perth's points so far. Now the Tigers set their offense. Good hands from Burston, deflect the pass from Stephen Hoare, and Perth have Melbourne on the back pedal again. Harvey for the triple.
That's what they wanted to do, wanted to get this crowd involved early. A lot of people at a basketball game for the first time here in Perth.
Dave Thomas finding Andrew Gaze guarded by James Harvey. Shot clock to 10 as Bradkey joins in. Now Stephen Hoare with the open look, and he makes it tumble as well.
Tony Ronaldson making Stephen Hoare prove that he will continue to take that shot and knock it down.
Grace goes to Burston at the elbow. Decides to fire over Bradkey, can't finish it. Dave Thomas with the rebound, and the Melbourne Tigers march back up the floor, trailing by 3. We've played almost 2 minutes of this opening quarter. Bradkey left naked, couldn't finish it off, and Harvey has the long rebound.
That's what's open if you help the cutter.
Here's Grace penetrating. Thought he was fouled by Copeland. Referees didn't see it that way. Bradkey's pass was almost picked off again by the long arms of Matthew Burston. The Tigers through Leonard Copeland, who decides to go solo off the back of the rim. Stephen Hoare with the offensive board, and now Dave Thomas.
Everybody joining in. Come on,
Bradkey, Copeland posting up the shorter Ricky Grace, who went early, deflected the ball, and Perth has another opportunity as Tucker feeds Ronaldson from close range. He gets the job done.
Excellent pass. Perth are really getting their transition game going. Very important. Something obviously they talked about before the game.
Gaze sneaking back door once again, adds another 2. He has 4 of Melbourne's 6 points.
I know he's a great player without the basketball, but 2 naked layups this early in the stage. And something's got to give.
Race looking for Ronaldson. It was picked off by Dave Thomas. It's a foot race, and Thomas does well to reel it in. Finds Copeland. That was a heads-up play from Dave Thomas to get the job done to Leonard Copeland.
Just a 1-point ball game. Don't go
Copeland's first points in the match. Perth in front. Under 3 and a bit minutes as Harvey works the baseline. Took Radke on. Gets the 2. Draws a foul. Strong work from the fringe Australian player.
That's a hell of a move. He plays through the contact here. Gaze with the hand on him. Doesn't slow him down. He makes a nice strong drive to the hoop. Takes the contact. Puts a soft layup up.
Averaging 21 points per game. James Harvey, top 10 in the National Basketball League. Gets the extra point as he extends Perth's lead back to 4. Copeland. Stephen Hoare guarded by Ronaldson. Radke goes to Copeland. Backdoor Hoare behind Ronaldson. Caught napping, and Stephen Hoare comes up with another field goal. His second.
Tony Ronaldson defended the cutter, and then he just kind of took his eye off of it just for a split second.
Looking for an answering 3, but can't supply it. Radke the rebound. Off to Gaze. Thomas joining in. Stephen Hoare available. Gaze goes to the former, who turns around unsuccessfully, but it's kept alive by Stephen Hoare. Dave Thomas on his tippy toes, ready to pull the trigger. It sets it up for the Tigers. Copeland against Gray, spinning baseline. Off the money, burst in the rebound, has Tucker available. Harvey and Ronaldson working hard for him. He splits a couple of defenders. Lost control of the ball, but Perth still with it. And with a 2-point advantage. As Harvey penetrates, fall-away jumper, little lap of honour, and Radke puts a stop to it. And off to Leonard Copeland.
That's a shot he'll hit 8 out of 10 times.
A lot of energy here early in the match. Very warm day in Perth, approaching 35 degrees. As Copeland hits Harvey in the air and now defers where Gaze may have travelled. In fact, the foul's going to be called on Ricky Grace.
Tell you what, he won't be calling many games here in Perth. He calls that one. Right here. Oh, man, that was soft. Especially after Andrew had really made the turnover already.
Thurston's quick hands get the job done again. Harvey challenges Dave Thomas. He rejects the shot, prevents the dunk. But James Harvey off to the free throw line. Perth are 3 of 3 from the stripe. The Tigers yet to get to the foul line.
That's very close to being a good defensive play. Harvey goes up nice and strong. Yeah, there's contact, but man, wasn't much. He got all ball with the hand. Called the foul on the body.
James Harvey, in his 6th year in the National Basketball League, has struggled with injury for the past couple of seasons. They're going to impact on his Olympic hopes. But he has his team 4 points in front, and Harvey with 8 leads all scorers here after 5 minutes of this opening term. Copeland looks back door where Dave Thomas has found the path. So that's 3 Melbourne Tigers now who have scored on the backdoor play. Grace looks for Ronaldson, getting a seal down low on Stephen Hoare and coming up with another 2. Trading baskets as Radke takes Burston on down to the baseline. Burston slapping away at the ball. Radke goes on with the job, now defers. Here's Leonard Copeland, caught it in rhythm, and Leonard Copeland hits the first 3 for the Melbourne Tigers. A point in it as we approach the halfway stage of this opening term. James Harvey working against Andrew Gaze and now getting a screen and rolling to the hoop was Burst, and the pass never got there though. Gaze takes it from Stephen Hoare, works in the Copeland direction, then took his eye off the ball and has coughed it up. And Rashad Tucker with Harvey in support, throws in the alley-oop for the 2.
Good finish by James Harvey, who's very capable of going up and dunking this. But he gets the basketball nice and early to Rashad Tucker, and he's just got a great feel for the game. He throws some dandy passes.
Tigers go to the bench and are going to introduce Thalo Green and Daryl McDonald. Stephen Hoare and Copeland will sit down. Thalo Green played in the match in Brisbane on Wednesday night and fouled out in 12 minutes. Daryl McDonald, but what a stellar career he's had here in Australia. Leading the league in steals, as he has for 9 of his 10 seasons, and has led 7 of the past 10 years in assists. Now he comes off the bench for the Melbourne Tigers. He'll play a big part if the Tigers are to go all the way. Single numbers on the shot clock for the Melbourne Tigers as Thalo Green takes Ronaldson on, and a tip jam from Dave Thomas has the fans oohing and ahhing.
Nobody got a body on Dave Thomas or Mark Bradkey. Thomas over the top. And that's what happens with good, strong dribble penetration by Thalo Green.
Here's Rashad Tucker bouncing off Dave Thomas from close range, and they've been pushed back out of the zone for the 2 will count. The Perth Wildcats just doing enough to keep their noses in front at the moment.
JJ Jackson into the game. Let's hear it for Matty Burswood. He's going to have a rest.
John Jackson makes his first appearance for the Perth Wildcats in this game, and Matt Burston gets a well-earned rest. He's played almost 7 minutes here in this opening term. John Jackson will be undersized against Bradkey, but he's producing 10 points and 6 rebounds per game to earn his spot here for the Wildcats. Gaze to the top of the key, 10 on the shot clock as he looks to penetrate, needs help. The pass is behind Daryl McDonald. Melbourne turn it over. It's their 5th turnover. Perth has committed 2 only in the match. Race takes McDonald on, makes some room for himself and then decides to penetrate, can't finish it. Thalo Green with a rebound for the Tigers. McDonald surveys the options and uses Andrew Gaze. Bradkey posting up John Jackson down in the low block. Decides to show us his range, can't finish it on that occasion. Jackson goes to Rashad Tucker. Ronaldson and Harvey ahead of him in terms of teammates. He takes them all on. Rashad Tucker has another 2.
Oh, he's so explosive. I think he's cruising along at a good pace, and then he just puts a burst of energy and then puts a soft shot up off the glass.
Gaze harassed, again forced to dump the ball to a teammate. This time it's Dave Thomas to Thalo Green. Back to Dave Thomas. Shot clock down to 6 as Thomas fires from deep. It's off the money, never looked likely. Perth's D just stifling Melbourne for the moment, and Rashad Tucker takes them on, looks to feed John Jackson, but it trickles out of court, and Melbourne will restart.
Well, he just gets into the lane so easily. Look at this nice setup for the crossover, and then little pass that was a little tough to handle, but he's so aggressive, you got to allow him about 4 turnovers.
Daryl McDonald goes to Gaze, gets inside Harvey. Help D worried him out of the points, though Ricky Grace provided it, and here he is leading the charge once more. Harvey in the corner, measures the 3, it's off the money. Rashad Tucker, offensive rebound, put back a little too strong, tipped in from John Jackson. His first points in the match.
Those are exactly the type of plays that he'll make for you every night.
7 points is the
Wildcats have scored the last 6. They lead 7, the biggest margin we've seen so far as Dave Thomas comes up empty. Bradkey keeps it alive, and the Tigers have another opportunity. This time it's Thalo Green from the corner measuring the triple, and he comes up with the goods. Silence the fans as well. It's Grace. Bounces off a couple of defenders and draws a foul on Thalo Green.
Thalo Green for foul.
4th team foul on the Tigers in this opening term. Perth has committed only 1 so far.
Spoke to Thalo when the Melbourne Tigers beat the Kings after the game. He said he can hit that shot. He'll shoot every time it's open.
The trick by Daryl McDonald. That's why he leads league in steals. Gaze goes back to him now, and off the window, Daryl McDonald has his 4 points.
2 points for him.
Tigers hit back with a 5-point run. Back to within a school basket of the Perth Wildcats lead.
Let's clap along, come on.
Tucker fends off Dave, collides with Bradkey, stays with it, and is rewarded with another 2. David Smith, former Rookie of the Year, to Brad. A little too much for John Jackson at the moment as he deals downstairs to add another 2.
Well, he looked like he could do that anytime he wants.
Harvey guarded by Gates. As we move inside the last 2 minutes, term number 1 from the Burswood Dome. Jackson this time really in the pass and comes up with the finishing touches as well. 2 of 2 from the field. Jackson has an impact off the bench. McDonald, back days, where he was standing in some room, but the money. First 3-point attempt from Gaze, not answered, and Copeland checks in and Andrew sits down.
Very rarely does Andrew look impatient, but a couple of times he has. He's had to, once he's gone up for a shooting act, had to kick it to somebody on 3 occasions.
Only 2 starters on the floor for the Melbourne Tigers at the moment. Perth has 3 starters out there. Brace and Ronaldson. Ben Thompson in the game and springs free against Dave Smith. Turns down the shot initially, now needs help. 5 on the shot clock as Jackson comes off the back of the rim. Copeland's pass for McDonald. Had a little too much on it, and the Tigers turn it over for the 6th time. Fans will greet the new face Andrew Rice with warm applause. Perth born Andrew Rice, family still living here in Perth as Ronaldson goes to the bench. Rice to the top of the key, the former Australian junior captain. Grace guarded by McDonald. Now he penetrates, bounce pass to Jackson was cut out by Thalo Green, who continues to impress. And inside the last minute of play in this opening period, he scores at the other end, draws a foul, chance for 3-point play. That's a nice impact off the bench that Lindsay Gaze is looking for.
Sure is. That is a hell of a hoop because he was pushed in the back, and that made him go even faster. Excellent pass. Somehow he throws it up there nice and soft and tries the and 1.
And Mark Bradkey will sit down for a rest for the Tigers.
Bradkey goes to the bench, replaced by Luke McMillan. So that leaves Leonard Copeland as the only starter on the floor for the Melbourne Tigers. Bradkey had a quiet night in Brisbane on Wednesday night. Just 16 points and 6 rebounds. He leads the NBL in rebounding with 12 per game, so he was at half his average. And that contributed to Melbourne's 7-point loss to the Brisbane Bullets. After they'd beaten the reigning champs, the Sydney Kings, twice in back-to-back matches. Here's Andrew Rice working downstairs, but troubled in the process.
Good call. He did. He shuffled those feet. Crowd wanted a foul.
The Tigers with an opportunity to perhaps to put their noses in front as Ben Thompson is called for the foul off the ball, impeding the progress of Leonard Copeland. 13th foul on Perth in this opening term. Melbourne will restart from the baseline. Ben Thompson, a little bit too much of the armbar there.
Come on, everybody, joining in defense is the word.
McDonald posting up Ricky Grace and feeling confident. Draws contact, he's off to the stripe. Only the second Melbourne player to get to the free throw line in the match. Perth are 5 of 5 from the stripe.
Ricky with that one. Number 2.
Perth take their chances with Ricky Grace on the back of Daryl McDonald because he's such an excellent passer. Also a very good finisher. A nice post-up. And we'll take advantage of those smaller guards.
Daryl McDonald at 39 years of age, the oldest player in the National Basketball League. 2-time MVP runner-up.
Hawaiians.
Can't get the back end there, but the Tigers are close to within 1. Shot clock is going to be some 6 seconds inside the game clock as we head toward the first break. Harvey against Thalo Green. Wants Rice posting up Copeland, but a foot violation called on Thalo Green. That will give Perth 11.8 seconds to get the final shot off before the quarter-time buzzer.
Good for 2 because Leonard Copeland was having all kind of trouble picking up Rice.
Here's Ben Thompson working to the elbow, firing over David Smith, did a lap of honour. And Melbourne will get another opportunity. Leonard Copeland against Harvey, elevating and pulling the trigger is off the money. Ball trickles out of court. And that is all for turn number 1. And the fans have been entertained, and it's a close match here. Quarter time, it's Perth 28, leading Melbourne 27 here on Fox Sports.
Sunday on Fox Sports, get all the latest results on Australia's most comprehensive sports news. At 1 a.m, Villa Arsenal kick off our Premier League doubleheader. Plus, the South Africa Windies test continues.
The fourth test from South Africa continues with day 3 as the home side takes on the West Indies.
There it is, an exhilarating innings.
Live and exclusive. The fourth test, day 3, tonight at 7:30, Fox Sports 2.
Get the new year off to a flying start with the Lifestyle Channel.
I want to bring excitement, I want to bring energy.
Sounds like a real doozy, this one.
Back and chill out with the exclusive lifestyle production, Home Summer Special.
The perfect way to cool down this summer.
Stay out of the kitchen. Take the plunge with brand new episodes of the Luxury Travel Show.
Absolutely gorgeous. Is it safe?
Well, I like to think so.
Escape the rat race and start living the dream.
Job well done.
Superb.
Superb. I don't think you know what you're taking on yet.
Or try on a different hat as chef for a night.
It bloody broke.
I've never worked so hard in my life.
Dr. Harry and the team are here to look after your creature comforts.
I'll be a monkey's up.
And Nigella heats up the kitchen with Forever Summer.
Too much of a good thing can be wonderful.
So forget those New Year resolutions and enjoy yourself this month on the Lifestyle Channel.
This big Wednesday, the on-court action tips off at 7:30 on your home of hoops.
But he knocks it down.
Live and exclusive, the Razorbacks take on the Wildcats, 7:30 Wednesday night, Fox Sports 1.
Possession arrow with the Melbourne Tigers as we get underway. Term number 2, the Wildcats lead by a point. As Bradkey goes to Copeland. McDonald stays on the floor to start term number 2. The lob pass to Bradkey is rejected by Burswood in tandem with Andrew Rice. They get the stop. And now Rashad Tucker looks inside. Rice couldn't reel in the pass. Melbourne catch a break there. Well, man who knows all about defence for the Perth Wildcats is their co-owner Andrew Vlahoff, the 350-game veteran who's put this show together. And congratulations to you, Andrew, and your staff. You put on a great show here, and the crowd have reflected that.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. The response has been phenomenal, and it really is a great spectacle.
Stephen Hall may have travelled there, but got away with it. They count.
You can't move feet, each foot, and not put the ball on the floor. I think he got away with one.
He needs to pay a bus fare to go that far, mate.
He walked a mile, didn't he?
Melbourne Tigers in front for the first time. And Andrew, we understand that a franchise record crowd here approaching 9,000 people. Is this going to turn into an annual event?
Well, obviously we wanted to see how it goes. The experiment is here and obviously reflected by the success, I think, in the attendance. So it's been a success no matter the result of the game. And obviously what we've got with the golf day yesterday, game and concert today, it's going to be something special.
And obviously you see a big future for the NBL, perhaps playing up to half a dozen games in Asia at some stage.
Yes, no doubt. I think that is inevitably the future of this league and this region. You know, we've got great players in Australia and a great product, and my firm belief we need to export that product.
Race
from the car park.
That was deep. He always seems to find a way. Also, there are a lot of people here, but they're loud. Started the game off, they're all standing up, they're very enthusiastic.
We've got great support from people here in Western Australia, and you know, to put on this sort of event and get this sort of attendance, as I said, couldn't be happier.
The Melbourne Tigers, of course, tour China on a regular basis, and would be well known to some of our viewers taking this match overseas. Here's Mark Bradkey spinning on Burston, doing a full 360, now dancing into the paint. Soft touch eludes him though, and Andrew Rice with the board off to Ricky Grace, who's quickly on the floor looking for support. Rice provides it, couldn't finish it off under pressure though, and Leonard Copeland and Ricky Grace, they tangle. Foul will be put on Leonard Copeland.
Those guys have enjoyed a tremendous rivalry over the years. So it's been a, you know, I've been on one side of the fence there with Ricky. I know that he always looks forward to the games against Copeland, and hopefully we'll see a little bit of trash talk later on, perhaps.
Leonard, there's always a possibility of that. He enjoys a chat. Ricky's stats up versus the Tigers versus his career, so yeah, he does enjoy playing against them.
Played almost 90 seconds. Term number 2 as the Wildcats look to build on a single-point lead. Grace looks for Tucker. Pass didn't do him a lot of favours, but he reels it in. Now beckons Tony Ronaldson to provide the screen. Showing them some tricks, but also with some problems. Now Richard Tucker penetrates against the Melbourne Tigers' Matador D.
He has probably the best first step in the league, I think. I haven't seen something that quick for a long time. His acceleration is second to none in this league, I think.
Stephen Hall goes to McDonald. Now Darlow Green joins in. Tigers having trouble spreading their offense at the moment. Now they have 5 on the clock as McDonald looks to penetrate against Rashad Tucker. Finds Bradkey available. Can't find the target though. Darlow Green falling out of court. Can't keep it alive. A good hustle nonetheless.
The crowd getting into him over there.
Fell into the snake pit over there with those Hawaiians.
Always knew the Hawaiians would look after him. Don't worry about that.
That's good defense by Perth. Now, Tigers have the luxury of Daryl McDonald with the shot clock winding down, but you know, if you call on that too often, which Perth have been making them do, that's going to make their percentage go way down.
It's important, I think, that this team, the Wildcats team, looks to keep the ball out of the hands of those guys as the shot clock winds down. You know, they are aware that McDonald can create in a second or two and bring other guys into the side. No, they are hyper aware of that.
Tigers back to their original starting 5. Here's Ben Thompson finding some holes in the Melbourne D as well. Dave Thomas back to Gaze as they exchange the ball. Dave Thomas works to the top of the key. Copeland just grabs and fires, and why not when you can pull the trigger and get the job done like that?
Well, there is just no rhyme or reason to his game. That is, by 95% of the players, a bad shot.
Not
but
for
he's capable of hitting it.
Not for Copes. I always thought Copeland's very much a rhythm ball his life. Tucker. He has got some shape.
You know, it's one thing to have an explosive first step, but he's got handle, and he's just got, look at that. He's just, you know, like Derek Rucker said, that's the all street right there.
Yeah, he came to us, you know, almost by chance when we cut Rawlings and went with Tucker. We signed him unseen in the game. Just from practice, it was enough to see that he had what it took to add something to this team, and boy, has he added it.
A pleasant surprise that must have been.
Gaze beat Bradkey. Thomas is available. Good job by Perth D initially, but Leonard Copeland makes them pay with his second 3.
Back-to-back three.
He looked to shoot that if he was 3 for 14 too. He's got a tremendous belief in his ability.
Harvey working on Copeland. Thought he was fouled. Referees didn't see it that way, and the Tigers with another opportunity. Copeland, can he make it back-to-back? Yes!
And he's filling it.
Back-to-back.
I think a timeout needs to be called to get somebody else onto Copeland.
And we're going to time out 39-37. Let's
I guess you know what you're talking about over here. Either that, you got a little eye contact, and he knows who the boss is. The Tigers, 2-point lead, 39-37.
While we have this timeout, Andrew, we saw the Melbourne Tigers recruit Wu Zheng earlier in the season, the Chinese Olympic player. Unfortunately, injury kept him away from playing here in Australia. Is that an area that you'll be looking to perhaps pursue further down the track in terms of Asian players?
Yeah, I think it's definitely an avenue we will continue to look at. We have been looking, but really haven't seen anything that we like. The best players in China are all in the NBA, and to get the other guys out, you know, it's a tough ask for them to relocate to a foreign country. You know, the Americans are kind of used to doing it, but, you know, there's been very few Chinese play in Europe, play anywhere else.
Okay, we've spoken about this before. If we go a couple of trips, crappy stuff, we need to come down and be solid with what we run. This next trip, we have to be that, all right? Guys, hey, we're all right. Let's be smart now, okay? Here we go. Together, guys. Let's go together.
They're having their problems at the moment containing Leonard Copeland. When he played at Challenge Stadium here in Perth back in October, he had a game-high 33, including 7 of 13 from deep. Some deja vu here for the Perth Wildcats, Andrew.
Well, Copeland is the kind of guy that just can heat up in a fraction of a second, and you've got to respect him no matter where he's standing in the half court. You know, he will try and shoot it.
Copeland has hit 4 of 6 threes in the match. Perth have only hit 2 as a team so far. We played almost 4 minutes of the second period. The Tigers in front by 2. After Perth led by as many as 7 in the opening term. Here's the Bear, Tony Ronaldson, making some room for himself down low. That draws the applause of a man who played that way himself.
Well, it's good to see Tony. You know, he has the ability to shoot the 3, but really, you know, he's more of a threat inside than probably outside. Certainly from an efficiency point of view, I'd like to see him get more shots close to the basket.
Perth doing a good job on Andrew Gay so far. He's been restricted to only 4 points on 2 of 4 shooting. With 2 on the shot clock, he comes up empty again. Tucker the rebound off to Harvey. 2-on-1 fast break for Perth. Harvey strong to the hoop. Couldn't finish it. Ben Thompson undersized against the Tigers. And Copeland has it slapped out of court by Matt Burston.
No fouls in there.
Speaking of Matt Burston long term, how is his injury concerns in terms of knee problems for a young man?
Well, it is a concern, and you know, we're working with him on a management program right now so he can play out the season, but really he needs extended rest to make sure that that thing doesn't get any worse than it currently is.
Dave Thomas against Tucker. No room for his shot. Goes to Bradkey and turn the danger man. Copeland has already hit 4 threes. Just off the money. Bradkey's offensive rebound. Tucker snatched it away from his. James Harvey can finish it with the block.
That's pretty good D by Perth. Made him take a tough shot. Bradkey with the rebound. And then a quick steal by Tucker. Good to see they're active.
Dave Thomas. Now Stephen Hoare, guarded by Ronaldson. Muscles his way into the paint. Foul's going to be called on Ronaldson, his first.
That's a tough thing to do. Lennard's hit some tough shots over an outstretched hand. To stay focused, you made him shoot a tough shot. He's hit a couple. They stuck with their D, and they got a good possession.
Yeah, I think you've got to have that belief in your team that, you know, sure, he'll hit a couple, but if we stick to our guns, that can't happen.
Tip again from Dave Thomas athletically to add the 2 after Copeland's triple. Jumped out of the cylinder. Level pegging. A little over 6 minutes out from halftime. Ricky Grace resumes his battle with Lennard Copeland. Shot clock to single numbers as he works to the baseline off the window. Grace with his second field goal in the match.
I think that was a googly foot. Come off his left foot and shot it with his left.
Dave Thomas against Rashad Tucker. Shot clock to 10 as he fires unsuccessfully, and Burston the rebound. His third in the match is Grace. Again comes forward with authority. Whistle off the ball. Stephen Hoare, Tony Ronaldson involved in a good wrestle, and the foul's going to be called on Stephen Hoare.
I think pretty much that's going to happen every time down the floor. Those guys are battling for position.
I remember playing against Bradkey. That was the hardest thing to stop about him. He'd make a beeline for the back west side, and he would sit down virtually on you, and you can't move him, you know, and that's exactly what Bear was trying to do then.
Grace. Miles McDonald needing help. Burston had it slapped away by Stephen Hoare. And now the Melbourne Tigers off and running as McDonald splits a couple. Goes all the way. Rejected athletically by James Harvey. Excellent work from both players.
That is play of the day so far. Impressive defense from Harvey. I think McDonald's trying to dunk that.
At 39.
Ronaldson from deep. Showing us his inside-outside skills. He's doing it all. The Wildcats have scored the last 5.
Well, I tell you, the last time we played a game in this dome, we played Wildcats versus the Melbourne Magic, and Tony Ronaldson lit me up like a Christmas tree with 3-pointers. It was unreal.
Sure, he hasn't mentioned it much.
Not much.
Can you confirm his claim that he did dunk in the match?
That is actually a fact, and we're having the floor checked.
Nice. Here's Gaze drawing a foul on James Harvey.
Interesting how that play was set up. Andrew coming around, he's got to defend that double pick. Harvey jumping to Harvey's left, couldn't get there, freed him up on the inside.
McDonald posting up the shorter Ricky Grace. Penetrating to Bradkey from close range. It bounces back to him. Fans thought Bradkey was in there too long. McDonald gets the job done.
I think Bradkey's been in the league long enough to get 4 seconds.
This Ronaldson down low. This time unsuccessful against Arlo Green and the Melbourne Tigers. with 5 minutes to play in the first half. Come forward, Gay spinning past Harvey and Grace, adds another 2.
That was good. 2 points.
Only 6 in the match for Andrew, but an indication there of his class. Just a look on Andrew's face. You can see he's gone up a level in the concentration and the focus, and he's now looking more and more for his shot. So Wildcats need to be on the guard that he doesn't heat up like Copeland. Tucker from close range now has an even dozen on 6 of 9 shooting. Joins Harvey as the leading scorer for Perth. Copeland with 14 leads the game as Dave Thomas goes to McDonald. Inside, looking for Bradkey, pass picked off by Burston. Grace has Harvey and Tucker in support. Rejected and stolen now by Darryl McDonald. The Tigers with a 3-on-2 fast break. Gaze for the 3. Skims over the rim. And Tony Ronaldson with the rebound. Now Grace with some space to work into and adding another 2. Perth continue to hold Melbourne at arm's length. It's a 5-point buffer. As Gaze takes them on, lost control of the ball under pressure. Perth will come up with it.
You call that Andrew Gaze, just that little extra focus, a little more aggressive right here. He hasn't been able to take James Harvey off the dribble the entire night or afternoon, and he's been able to do that right there.
You can see when the Tigers get down by about 5 or 6, you can see he takes the game into his own hands on a very regular basis. And he'll take it himself. He'll get Copeland back in the game. Copeland, interestingly enough, taking a healthy break right now.
James Harvey unsighted there. The ball out of court. Turnover number 9 for Perth. Melbourne has 10 in that category. Perth with a 5-point lead. They led by 1 at quarter time. As David Smith joins in. Skip pass back to McDonald, and Thurlow Green already successful from that area. Back-to-back threes to Thurlow Green.
Haven't seen much of this guy, but you know he seems to be a very solid player and doesn't do anything stupid. Very efficient and knocking down that outside shot.
Grace goes back to Harvey athletically, spinning inside Thurlow Green for the finishing touches.
And he's got a knack for scoring as well.
That kid's got more moves than a can of worms, I'm telling you.
David Smith, guarded by Tucker. Now Thurlow Green presents himself against Ronaldson, gets closer to the hoop, couldn't control the ball, came up empty, and now the Wildcats off and running. Tucker was available, but it goes to Harvey, and it was a good option. Back to a 7-point lead. The Wildcats have scored the last 5. High energy affair from the Burswood Dome in Perth. McDonald with a foot on the line adds 2.
The Wildcats have just made a big mistake. Mark Breakey's angry. He just tried to take Ricky's head off, and now he's about to take Jackson's head off.
Ronaldson again using his bulk, but from close range couldn't finish it off, and Bradkey with authority. Now off to McDonald, who kicks it further to Andrew Gaze. Guarded by Harvey and wanting some room to work in. He fires, can't finish it. Bradkey got a piece of the action, but it spills out of court. Perth will come up with it.
John Jackson's doing a very good job of keeping Mark as far away from the backboard as possible. Bradkey is such a force in this league that really you have to spend one player on him just to minimise his impact on the game.
Perth by 4. Still over 90 seconds to play. Harvey goes down off the ball. Here's Ronaldson again, making some room for himself in-house. Chance at a 3-point play, and Ronaldson creating all sorts of havoc for Melbourne.
Boy, doesn't he look good when he's mixing it up like that. He is impossible to stop as far as the seal, and that little jump hook gets going. He's got to fall away with a nice soft jump shot, and he's canning his 3 in transition. Oof, good luck.
Yeah, no, he's tough. With that inside-outside game, he can mix it up, and you know, if he's hitting those little touch shots, he's in for a good night.
7 the margin once more. And Andrew, we saw you make a presentation to Andrew Gaze pre-game. Do you know something we do? Will he be back next season here?
Well, I'm not sure, but you know, it's going to, sooner or later, the inevitable will happen. And we wanted to make sure that this club and this state recognise the tremendous contribution that Andrew and his father have made to this game.
Yes, of course, they won the championship here in '93.
Under controversial circumstances.
Here's Ronaldson down low again. Couldn't finish it, but John Jackson does.
When Ronaldson's rolling like he is tonight, and John Jackson, he can play his role, and he's so good at that.
That's probably the best part of his game, is just being lucid around the boards and getting the occasional tip-ins.
Foul called on Ricky Grace. That will be his second personal. And with 48 seconds to play, Andrew, we'll thank you and let you go back to enjoying the occasion. We appreciate your invitation here, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thanks, guys.
Andrew Vlahoff, co-owner of the Perth Wildcats, who have put together the Summer Jam here at the Burswood Dome, and approaching 8,000, thoroughly enjoying it, or even 9,000 as Harvey comes up empty. Talo Green with the ball, and the shot clock is going to be some 13 seconds inside the game clock, with the Wildcats leading by 9. McDonald against Grace, spinning baseline off the window, made it look easy. He's into double figures on 4 of 5 shooting. Also has 3 assists to lead his team in that category. This man, Ricky Grace, has 5 assists to lead the match. He's looking for the last play of the first half. Harvey, guarded by Copeland, looking casual, now needs to get busier. Fires a little off balance, couldn't finish it. Talo Green can't get it off in time, and an entertaining first half concludes here with the Perth Wildcats leading by 7. Half-time from the Burswood Dome in Perth. It's the Wildcats 60, leading the Melbourne Tigers 53 here on Fox Sports. Good second term for the Perth Wildcats. 32 points to 26. They turn a 1-point quarter-time lead into a 7-point half-time buffer, although referees now conferring with the scoring bench just to make sure there was no time left on the clock for the Melbourne Tigers to fire away. This first half has had plenty, not the least of which has been a 17-point haul from James Harvey. Lenan Copeland's 4 of 9 threes, impressive as well.
Try and do a bit of a dance. I got some tickets. Number 1 links to I see someone dancing.
Well, they told me that there was an error there. Okay, let's go. Let's go, guys. Let's go.
Well, Lindsay Gaze isn't going to be thrilled about that, but it is half-time, and it is the Wildcats by 7. Here's Steve Carfino.
Well, Harv, looked like you're doing an excellent job on Andrew. Looked like it was a major concern, not just by you, but your teammates, to not let him get going.
Yeah, no question. I mean, it's not a one-man job. You know, we've all got to help out. You know, one man isolated all the time, Andrew's just going to kill you. So we've been doing a good job, but everybody knows that there's a whole half to go, and he could come up and have 30 in the second half. So I just got to try and keep working him in transition, particularly running the floor, try and tire him out. They've had a tough schedule. We'll see how we go.
Must be tough to keep concentrating on your offense. You had a productive offense as well as playing that good D.
Yeah, I think so. That's probably just fitness more than anything. We've had a little bit of a layoff, probably more than them, so it gives me an opportunity to run the floor. Andrew's not crashing the boards a lot either, so I can put a body on him on the three-point line and take off and run. So we'll see what happens in the second half. Hopefully we can wear him down.
Big crowd here helping you out.
Oh, it's a fantastic atmosphere. You know, this shows the basketball is alive and well in Perth and in the country.
All right, thanks, Harv.
Thanks, man.
All right, well, the Perth Wildcats, they have the best crowd in the league, and these are kind of the craziest guys around, the Uni boys. I don't know what you think, Australia, but you can think about it. We'll be back right after the break.
WBA Super Middleweight Champion of the world.
The man, Mundine. The first title defense. Mundine Nishizawa live. Monday night at 7. Call your local Fox Sports hotel or club to see if they're showing the fight.
Your family are the people you feel most connected to.
You look at your family and you wonder, how did I get here?
You want to
Welcome back to the Burswood Dome in Perth, a one-off basketball spectacular from the casino. And a healthy crowd, almost 9,000 attendance. Trust you are enjoying our coverage. Perth 60, Melbourne 53 at the long break. The Tigers are never too far away. They're in a dangerous situation here as we look at the numbers and good quality of 50.
I just like the ability of the Tigers to hang around with the team playing well against them. Look how the Perth Wildcats are going 60.5, 56% from the field, 67 outside the 3 and 86 from the free throw line. And they've got single-figure turnovers. When a team is that aggressive in transition, usually they make more turnovers. But the Tigers, although Perth have such impressive numbers in the first half, are just hanging around. And that's how they get wins.
Okay? So you have to be aware of the lob, because you've also got to be aware of less, okay? You've got to be active. And the other big thing is you. You've got to put pressure on the ball, okay? Hey, come on now, boys, let's get up.
For the Melbourne Tigers, looking to get back into the winners list after losing to Brisbane on Wednesday night. Perth have won their last 2 and are looking for their 5th consecutive win at home after a slow start to the season. Top 8 go through to the playoffs. First and second in a first round bye, but if you finish 3rd to 8th, you're involved in sudden death playoffs to get through to the semi-finals. And the Wildcats looking for a record 18th consecutive year in the postseason.
Wow.
Both teams back to their starting 5s for the match, and Dave Thomas reads the tip from Matt Burston to give the Melbourne Tigers first use of the ball. They'll try and eat into it, a 7-point buffer. And the Wildcats have opened up, and Leonard Copeland is going to start the second half where he finished the first half. He's hit 5 threes in the match now.
And Andrew Gage is the one that got him so wide open. He made a good, strong cut to the basket. And 2 defenders follow him so he wouldn't get the layup. And Leonard Copeland pops out for the wide open 3.
Tucker gets it from Ronaldson. Against Stephen Hoare, fancies his chances, and reaching in, Stephen Hoare's going to be called for a soft foul to start the second half.
A little foul, we're going to drag it out. You're going to get sore feet.
Rashad Tucker taking the drive. He didn't appreciate that little bone he got from Mark Bradley.
Tucker gets it back from Harvey, goes to Ricky Grace inside Leonard Copeland, looking for support, and spills between Harvey's legs. He regathers, now needs to get busy. The wraparound pass to Burston for the finishing touches.
We talked about Harvey's ability to pass the basketball, very underrated. You see it right there.
Dave Thomas goes to Leonard Copeland, who's feeling confident off the front of the rim. Bradke keeps it alive. Now it's Andrew Gage penetrating, dishing to Stephen Hoare, who follows him into the paint. Rejected by Burston. What an influence he's having on the match. And Grace leads the charge for the Wildcats. Harvey just got a little off balance there. Now he steps back from Andrew Gage, and that's another 2. 19 in the match to lead all scorers.
It wasn't a great pass from Ricky, a little bit low for him to catch it in rhythm. So he did the right thing, didn't rush it, and made a good move.
Here's Stephen Hoare. Back to Copeland. Now Dave Thomas. Firing from 3-point territory. Didn't look confident with it. Didn't get the reply, and now Grace trying to sneak up on the Tigers once again to Tucker. Had a foot on the line. No, it was a 3-point attempt, but it wouldn't work. A good job there by Stephen Hoare, and Melbourne get the opportunity to come forward as Harvey is called for the foul. 4th personal on James Harvey. Early stages of term number 3 will give Coach Mike Ellis something to think about.
Well, that's tough because really he had nowhere to go. But he's running full steam at you and has the ability to keep it on the floor even in traffic.
Stays with it. Now Copeland at the top of the key. He found some room. Dishes to Stephen Hoare baseline. That's a nice move. Deserved better. Rimmed out. And now Tucker leads the charge. Harvey in support. He doesn't need any. He is high off the window. Rashad Tucker shows us his skills.
Look at the D's there enough. He just explodes over the top of that. Made a very tough shot look easy.
Double-figure lead for the first time in the match as Perth start to make their move, and Mark Bradley silences the fans. Shows us his good range. Bradley's first field goal, just his second field goal of the match. He's only taken 6 shots, has 8 rebounds. Will lead that category in the game. Ronaldson looking back door where Ricky Grace was working on Copeland. Just got enough of it to force it down out of court off Ricky Grace. Perth by 8 after 3 minutes of term number 3. Days against Harvey. It's been a good battle. Ball goes to Bradley working on Burswood. That never looked likely. The quick release, and now Perth wanting to play up tempo, and Ricky Grace getting a long way down the floor unchallenged as Tucker uses the finger roll unsuccessfully. Now it's a wrestle. He did a good job to reef it back in, and coming up with another 2. 16 in the match now for Rashad Tucker. Gaze working back door is clubbed by Matt Burston. He's off to the free throw line. Andrew is number 4 in the National Basketball League. He's hit 100 of 113 free throws this season coming into this match.
Important to keep ball pressure on those passers. There wasn't much daylight, but they can thread the needle like that, they will.
On shot, here we are.
And he is just one man. You can't deny the ball. He is just too good at that backdoor cut, and his teammates are too good at finding him.
Slow night for Andrew, only 8 points on 3 of 8 shooting. He's yet to hit a 3 in the match. Copeland has 5 triples. And here he is guarding Ricky Grace. Ronaldson looking down low with Burston, did a good job against Bradkey and made sure of it with tipping it himself.
Well, he's good at that. Getting right back up and having another crack at it.
Tigers don't appear to have the confidence that they showed against the Sydney Kings last week. Maybe that loss in Brisbane on Wednesday night has just taken the wind out of their sails a little as Copeland finds some room for the shot. Bursting in over the back of Bradley is going to be called for his 3rd personal.
Last 3 shots have been short. I think maybe their confidence a little, but I think it's a physical fatigue case. I think the schedule on their big guns is really starting to wear on them, especially Bradkey. He just carries such a big load.
Copeland muscles his way to the hoop. Despite his light frame, he has good strength. And Leonard Copeland, with 19 in the match, joins Harvey as the game-high scorer. The Melbourne Tigers are in the middle of their toughest stretch of the season. They're playing 12 games in 36 days. As Tucker comes up empty and Hoare has the rebound. Off to Copeland. Now Gaze joining in. Looking to get past Harvey. Tucker reaches in from behind, will be called for the foul. And that will be the 4th team foul on Perth in this period. And we've played less than 5 minutes.
It's Andrew being aggressive, getting in there. Guys reaching. Could have done without that one. As you know, Gaze will start to get to the line. He'll get his 20 plus that way.
Here he is making some room for the shot. They need to do a better job than that as Andrew takes advantage of one of the few opportunities that have been given to him.
He hasn't had many, but he's got almost 7 minutes in the bonus where he'll just milk those points that way.
Grace to the baseline, rejected by Stephen Hoare and Leonard Copeland in tandem, and now Gaze goes to the coast off the window, adds another 2. At 6 in the first half, he scored 6 in less than 6 minutes of this period. Tigers mounting the challenge, should close to within 4. Just putting a little more pressure on the Perth Wildcats. Tucker, guarded by Dave Thomas. Shot clock now down to 5 as Ronaldson pushes Stephen Hoare over and is called for the offensive foul. That's the 5th team foul on Perth in this period. They're being offensive. There won't be free throws. Puts them over the limit.
I think Stephen Hoare was just lucky. I think he lost his balance and Tony Ronaldson had his arm on him. He got called for the charge. I mean, I can see why he called the charge, but I don't think that's why he was out of position and fell down.
Tigers have scored the last 6 points. Andrew Gay starting to become influential. Hoare to Copeland, who's been busy all night. Leaning in for the triple, couldn't finish it. Tucker the rebound, has numbers in support, beats Jackson with an excellently timed pass for the easy 2.
When he is such a strong finisher, you have to lay back. And then he doesn't hesitate to deliver that sweet pass. He loves to give it up.
Gaze onwards to Bradkey, guarded by Jackson. Now they swing it back around. 5 on the shot clock as Andrew dribbles into the traffic. Bradkey baseline, threw up an air ball way beyond his range. Here's Tucker for the jam. Foul by Leonard Copeland, off to the stripe.
Well, we got a foul on Leonard, 2 shots for Rashad.
Now, this is where the dunk is a great play. And he's quite capable of finishing that off with a dunk, but if he would have just absorbed the hit and laid that in, he will score that every time. And you don't want to discourage guys from dunking on people in traffic. But if that were in the 4th quarter in the last 2 minutes of the game, you want him to lay that up.
Sean Tucker made his debut for Perth with a 15-point game in Brisbane. And then followed it up with back-to-back triple doubles against West Sydney and Adelaide. This has been a great acquisition for the National Basketball League, a very exciting commodity. And he stretches Perth's lead back to 7. Copeland to Bradkey. Now Gaze, remembering Perth over the limit in terms of fouls, need to be very cautious with what they do defensively. Single numbers on the shot clock as Bradkey spins baseline, forced into a tough shot by the undersized John Jackson. And Tucker unable to keep it alive. Melbourne will restart. 4 seconds on the shot clock.
Another charge for the Tigers. Leonard sits down and
that should have been reset. Darryl McDonald's in for Leonard Copeland. Now a whistle for a foul off the ball, and Andrew Gaze is going to the free throw line.
James Harvey with a foul.
James Harvey picks up his 5th personal foul with still 5 minutes to play in this period.
Okay. James, your hand in the middle of his stomach if he's running past, mate. Take your hand off then.
Man, that was soft.
James Harvey's 4th personal foul.
Really soft.
Back to a 5-point ball game as we move inside the last 5 minutes of term number 3. Ricky Grace guarded by Darryl McDonald. Picks up the dribble, needs help. Tucker provides it a long way from the hoop. The shot clock to 10. Ronaldson monstered by Darryl McDonald, his former teammate. Fouls on McDonald. Only the 3rd team foul on Melbourne in this term.
James Harvey sits down. Let's hear it for the team.
Darryl McDonald had steel on his mind. Tony Ronaldson played nice and strong with it.
Grace takes it from Ben Thompson, working on McDonald down to the baseline. Now back the other way. Jackson, who's been efficient, looks for Ronaldson baseline. Wouldn't tumble for him. Bradkey keeps it alive, but only as far as Ben Thompson. Perth has another use of the ball, and Tucker works the baseline to Jackson. In turn, Grace, he penetrates off the window, couldn't finish it. Stephen Hoare finally puts a stop to it for the Tigers, who have numbers running. Dave Thomas takes on Jackson and Ben Thompson. Thompson will be called for the foul. His 2nd, and free throws now to come for Dave Thomas.
Andrew gives it up nice and early. Dave Thomas goes in for the strong move, but that's a good foul. Very good foul. Make him earn it from the stripe. Wildcats haven't given up many easy baskets. You know, the Tigers are going to score theirs because they're a very potent offensive team, but they haven't given them any mental letdowns since maybe the early part when they were losing vision on those cuts.
Dave Thomas comes up empty from the free throw line. The Tigers now 8 of 12 from the stripe, 7 of 9 as Tucker feeds the 2 off the alley-oop play from Ricky Grayson, draws a foul. And the fans are loving it, all 9,000 of them.
Somebody missed a back cut. I'm sorry, a back screen. Yeah, there was a back screen right there that wasn't communicated. Dave Thomas was late for that reason. I'm not quite sure who it was, but I'm sure they all know. The Tigers anyway.
Rashad Tucker with 20 points takes over as the high scorer in the game. His season high is 23. Picked up 16 rebounds in that match against Cairns as well. Dave Thomas to Bradkey. Gaze in support. Now it's Hoare looking for the taller Darryl McDonald, posting up former Rookie of the Year Travis Lane. Jackson batted down the pass. McDonald returns the favour. Ball out of court and Perth will come up with it. He steals the ball that often, averaging 3 per game to lead the NBL, and occasionally it's going to happen to him, Steve.
He's really dangerous. If he makes a turnover and he's trying to get it back, it shows you how good he is at taking the ball from you.
Travis Lane, guarded by McDonald. Shot clock to 8 for the Perth Wildcats. Ronaldson scoops up the slow pass. Now Tucker needs to get something happening. Didn't know Darryl McDonald was right there behind him. Points will be waved away. Shot clock violation is called on the Perth Wildcats. The fans don't like it.
Rashad Tucker's hot. He didn't get called. He didn't get a foul called as he was dribbling with all that physical. It didn't count, but he's mad because he didn't get a foul call.
Thumbs down.
Here's Stephen Hoare. Now Mark Radke. McDonald against the shorter Travis Lane. Single numbers on the shot clock, less than 3 to play, term number 3. Tigers down by 8, need a steadier. Bradkey, they're not going to get it off in time. Deflected out of court. The Tigers have 1 second on the shot clock. Try and get Leonard Copeland into the match along with David Smith before this play. Gaze and Dave Thomas will sit down. McDonald will restart. I'll guarantee you he'll find someone. Stephen Hoare it is, who fires unsuccessfully, and Perth are rewarded for their strong D.
They forced the Tigers to shoot a lot of shots with the shot clock winding down tonight.
In this period, Steve, Melbourne has been restricted to 5 of 15 from the field. Travis Lane goes to Jackson. In turn, Ben Thompson. Ronaldson, one of only 2 starters on the floor for Perth at the moment, and Stephen Hoare is called for his 4th personal. Free throws to come now for the Wildcats. Barlow Green stepping back into the game. Stephen Hoare sits down.
You know, I don't mind this substitution. Thalo Green coming in for Stephen Hoare. You know, if Stephen's really rolling and they get the same work ethic, and Thalo's a better 3-point shooter, so you don't mind that so much.
Ronaldson couldn't get the back end, but has another opportunity thanks to the quick hands of Travis Lane, and he helps himself to the field goal.
I like that. Defense scatters because he looked to pass initially.
Everybody, come on, I want to hear you down
then
here.
he knocks it down.
Wildcats on a 6-0 run here. They lead by 11 points. It's the biggest margin we've seen in the match at any stage. And the Tigers have their hands full as Thalo Green defers to McDonald. 5 on the shot clock. He penetrates. Green from deep is off the money. McDonald gets the offensive rebound. And the Tigers, another opportunity that they desperately need at the moment. Less than 2 minutes to play, term number 3. The Tigers have had problems in offense since half-time, and there's more evidence of it.
79-68.
Low-scoring third period. It's 19-15 in favour of Perth since half-time. Their 7-point lead at the major break is now 11. Pass from Rashad Tucker. Would have been a good one for Matt Burston. A little too much on it. for Travis Lane.
A bit of a break for the Tigers, but the luxury that the Wildcats have is they've been able to rest Burston and Ricky Grace and get a lead on top of it.
Copeland. Now Bradkey feeds McDonald, bouncing off Travis Lane and still controlling the shot. Daryl McDonald has 12 on 5 of 6 shooting. Season high of 18 for Daryl McDonald came against Adelaide. Here's Ben Thompson. Treating back outside the three-point line. Shot clock is single numbers as he works on Leonard Copeland. Wanted to go solo, and Leonard Copeland is called for the foul. Ben Thompson off to the free throw line.
The foul's on Leonard Copeland. Ben Thompson with a couple of shots, and Ricky is into the game. Let's hear it for Rashad Tucker.
Right on the elbow, Ray Hunt right on top of that one.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good defensive possession, other than that foul at the end of it by the Tigers. They get a stop there. Different ball game. Now the Tigers been able, the Wildcats been able to just regroup and keep that lead the entire match.
It's 11 at the moment. Less than a minute to play. Term number 3. Copeland to Bradkey, who's been held at bay for most of the match with just 4 points, 8 boards. Australia's best big man. Now Barlow Green has 7 on the shot clock as he fires against Ronaldson. It was a tough shot for the left-hander. And Perth is steaming up the floor, all in the offense as Green reaches in from behind and fouls Ronaldson, who earns a trip to the free throw line.
Boy, you have got a night in front of you when you're guarding Tony Ronaldson. He goes to get that position every single time down. Schooled well under Brian Gorgon, those bigs for the Magic and the Titans. They just go to, as Andrew Roth said, that Bank West side and create space for themselves. And if Andrew Roth had trouble keeping those guys off of that area, the average man has no chance.
Daryl McDonald forced into a tough shot by Travis Lane, couldn't finish off, and Perth will get another opportunity. They lead by 12. In the driving seat at the moment against the Melbourne Tigers, staring down the barrel of back-to-back defeats. Now Grace draws a foul from Barlow Green. Ricky's off to the free throw line. And he is number 6 in the NBL. First trip to the stripe in this match, and Ricky Grace has hit 57 of 65 free throws this year. Very steady from the stripe, as those numbers tell you. Just outside the top 10 all time in the Australian National Basketball League. Leads the league in assists at 8 per game in his 15th season. Led the league in assists last season for the first time in his career in his 14th year. During his tenure here since 1990, Ricky Grace has steered this ship to a record equaling 4 championships. What can the Tigers come up with in the last play? Well, Ben Thompson's restricted them to none. McDonald got it back. Ben Thompson stole it again. This surely isn't going down, and it's not on the three-quarter time buzzer, but we have a ball game. The Perth Wildcats are feeling confident. They've scored the last 5, and with a quarter to play, it's Perth 84, leading Melbourne 70 here on Fox Sports.
Updating Fox Sports News. India won the toss and elected to bat in its tri-series clash against Australia at the Gabba. Captain Ricky Ponting opted for a 4-pronged pace attack, with Jason Gillespie returning to the side. Steve Allen has relinquished the lead of the Sony Open in Hawaii after struggling to an even par 70 to be 3 off the pace. American Harrison Fraser leads defending champion Ernie Els by a shot. Anthony Mundine has weighed in ahead of his world title fight against Japan's Yoshinori Nishizawa for the WBA super middleweight crown. And Premier League leaders Manchester United have been stunned by Wolverhampton, losing 1-0. Details tonight in Fox Sports News at 7 o'clock Eastern.
the Super Bowl is coming to Fox Sports. But first, there's the intense heat of the NFC playoffs to sit back and enjoy. This is real crunch time. Win, and you're just one step from the sports showpiece fixture. Lose, and watch the rest of the season from the sidelines.
We gotta get a figure.
Live and exclusive, the NFC Championship game kicks off Monday morning at 10. Fox Sports 2.
Like to start your year all new? First up in 2004 on Arena.
I don't know if I can handle this.
You're about to find out.
New to Arena, and for the first time at a good time, the dramatic premiere of 6 Feet Under. Start your year with a new series of Cold Feet. Prepare for new tales from the flip side of the red carpet. All new true Hollywood stories. If that's not enough, when actors act up, the cameras are always rolling. All new Celebrities Uncensored. 6 Feet Under, new to Arena. Cold Feet, a new series. Plus all new true Hollywood stories and all new Celebrities Uncensored.
That's brilliant.
Start your 2004 on Arena.
This big Wednesday, the on-court action tips off at 7:30 on your home of hoops.
But he knocks it down.
Live and exclusive, the Razorbacks take on the Wildcats, 7:30 Wednesday night, Fox Sports 1.
They've had one or two easy ones. Other than that, especially in that last 3 or 4 minutes, was excellent, all right? Good job, Treadway, to put pressure on them. You know, we're helping off the right people. Okay, going to try and remember just be careful coming off ropes on that. All right, Jay, if you show them that, you've got to make sure that they're coming back before you just disappear. Okay, good job. Okay, good job. Way to work down there. Offensively, what's been the best thing for us in this quarter? Transition. Transition out of good stops. We get it, we push it. If there's nothing there, then we bring it out and we go through it again, all right? 5's been good, 54's been good. Those last couple of trips on 2 were good, okay? Nice decisions on those. All right, we need to keep doing that. Guys, right now, okay, this end, defensive end, we've got to lock them up and then push it at them. We don't want to give them anything easy. We don't want them to have a sniff at this, okay? Get all over them, one shot, box out, let's go with it. All right, here we go.
Very positive timeout for the Perth Wildcats. One of the things that they've done well, as Mike Ellis said, has been their defense. Then they've had the ability to run that fast break, and Rashad Tucker has been one of the driving forces. Pulls down the rebound. Look at this coast to coast. A la Magic Johnson, legend for the Lakers. Then on the glass, workhorse, got those 2 points. He's been everywhere tonight for the Wildcats and having a very handy game. Rashad Tucker with 20, 5 boards, and 4 assists.
For the Wildcats, Cats closing in on their 5th consecutive win at home, albeit at a different venue from the Burswood Dome in Perth, in front of almost 9,000. Biggest basketball event in the country so far this season. Wildcats looking to expand this 14-point lead. John Jackson's kick in from good range off the window.
We are live.
7-zip run now.
This is going through Asia as well. Steve Carpino.
Stephen Hoare looks to penetrate, drawing contacts. Foul is going to be called, and Stephen Hoare to the free throw line, where he's 3 of 3 so far in the match.
Look at all the special people in the boxes, eh?
Tigers are a long way from being done.
I think they're so important. Hello.
And when you have a 16-point lead, you tend to just try and protect the lead. Now, the Wildcats have been aggressive on the D, and they've been running. But that's the first thing. Get a little cautious. You don't look to run as much. And that's when the Tigers are dangerous, when they're behind.
In Perth, playing with only 2 starters at the moment as well. Ricky Grace and Tony Ronaldson are there. Harvey, Tucker and Burswood all resting on the bench at the moment. Stephen Hall couldn't get it done. He gets it back from Dave Thomas from close range. It wouldn't work. He has another chance as Travis Lane is called for the foul. Second team foul on Perth in this final term. Tigers didn't exploit the foul trouble that we thought they may do in term number 3, but this one ain't over yet. Hall takes it from Gaze, heads back to Mark Bradke, who fires over Jackson, and that looked ominous off the window from Mark Bradke.
Yeah, it looked like he could do it a lot more, didn't it?
Still the long way back as Jackson sneaks back door inside Mark Bradke, and what an impact he's having. 6 of 7 from the field. Jackson has 12 points and 9 rebounds.
He gets that one because he's fresher than Mark Bradke. He just ran to that one, got the open area, finished it off.
Copeland guarded by Travis Lane. Wants Gaze in the corner, working on Ben Thompson. Shot clock now to 4 as they use Dave Thomas, posting up the shorter Ricky Grace. Dave Thomas, a quiet night by his standards. It's another 2.
Go Tigers, no.
Right now, Perth are just shooting the basketball freely. Tigers need about 2 stops to make this thing interesting.
Grace penetrating, drew contact, and is off to the free throw line. That was just experience and basketball smarts.
We'll give Perth some credit because when they've needed a bucket just to steady this thing and keep a double-figure lead, they've got 3 layups.
This is the station to listen to. The change, Travis Lane out.
Approaching his 450th NBL game. Ricky Grace has been a winner in this league. The captain of the Perth Wildcats gives his team a 16-point lead.
For James Harvey, 16 for Tony Robinson.
Stephen Hall looking in the Gaze direction, guarded by Harvey. Now Dave Thomas spinning on Ben Thompson. He got knocked out of court off his legs. That's good D from Ben Thompson.
19 points for Leonard Copeland, 14 for Andrew Gaze, 12 for D-Mac.
Standing his ground, Ben Thompson, and stripping it quickly. Here he is, firing from deep. Not on this occasion. Bradke the rebound. Number 9 in that category is Gaze, leads the charge. 14 in the match for Andrew. Dave Thomas to Bradke. In turn, Copeland working on the shorter Ricky Grace. Now Jackson comes across. Bradke back to Copeland. Single numbers on the shot clock. Copeland from the top of the key. Couldn't finish it. Jackson kept it alive to Ricky Grace. He has numbers in support. Ben Thompson baseline. Worried out of the points by Leonard Copeland, but Perth has it back again. And Ricky Grace from deep tries his luck without success. Tigers trying to work hard to get up the floor and get an easy basket, and that helps them there.
Dave Thomas, 2 points, 76 for the Tigers, 90 for the Wildcats.
14-point ball game, a little over 9 minutes to play. Harvey to Ronaldson. Grace, shot clock to 10. Guarded by Copeland. Here's Ben Thompson working on Dave Thomas. Nice touch from Ben Thompson, despite good defensive pressure.
It's a big shot. They've had the ability all night to do that. Every time the Tigers try and make some kind of a run.
Gaze to the baseline. No room for his shot. Leonard Copeland looking for Stephen Hall, who does well to reel it in. Single numbers on the shot clock now as Bradke works on John Jackson. Dances into the paint, draws a foul on Jackson, his first.
He got his money's worth too. But that takes a very hard foul to make Mark Bradke just completely lose the ball. Bradke had a look at him too, like, you want to continue on with it?
Lindsay Gaze and Al Westover coaching hierarchy for the Tigers with their hands full at the moment. His first trip to the free throw line in this match. What a stalwart he has been. In the league in block shots, won the last 5 rebounding titles in this country, and was the MVP of the league in 2002. 14 the spread, a little over 8 minutes to play. Perth have had the upper hand here for a good 95% of the match, but Gaze strips Harvey, does a good job to outbody Ricky Grace. His experience gets him another 2.
That pass is right on the money, too. Not too far where it's a foot race. He's able to keep a body on him and stay in front.
Tigers drawn to within 12. Gaze is called for the foul on Harvey.
That was number 10.
Fourth personal on Andrew.
No, he's starting to move it up. Let's go.
Let's see, the only argument was it a shooting foul? Foul occurs, right? Yeah, he wasn't looking to pass that.
As Andrew is complaining a little bit because he had one similarly earlier in the match that he didn't get to the free throw line for.
Yeah, that's all you ask, Case, is that they call it consistent. That's the thing, you know, a guy goes hard to a spot, he's got to clear out. He's not pulling up the pass. He's pulling up the shoot.
5 of 5 from the stripe. James Harvey now has 21 to lead the game. Wildcats by 14. It's the Tigers. Swing the ball around the perimeter. Now Stephen Hoare to the elbow. Short-armed it, never looked likely. Stephen Hoare just 2 of 7 from the field. Ricky Grace spies an opening, feeds Ben Thompson. He measures the triple.
Benny T's hit, well, 2 that I can think of, big shots here in the second half.
17-point lead is the biggest we've seen. Bradkey comes up empty and the Wildcats march back up the floor. They've scored the last 5. As Grace needs help, Thompson provides it. Tigers looking a little tired. Copeland giving Burston a shove and something to go on with as well, leaving Ricky Grace available. Bradkey the rebound, his 10. Now Gaze pushing it to Dave Thomas against Burston. Tries his luck and Dave Thomas now has an even dozen.
I think I know what that is about. He's been checking Melbourne Tigers cutters very hard all night. Hasn't been pinged with one.
Jackson guarded by Stephen Hoare. Now Ricky Grace working on Leonard Copeland. Leonard steamed at the moment as Burston worked to the baseline. Banks bodies with Bradkey, controls the shot off the window.
All that physical contact, he's still able to put that soft jump hook up there over Bradkey.
Wildcats still above 50%. The Tigers are starting to lose ground here as Copeland gets a high percentage shot away. Wildcats have 6 scorers in double figures. Melbourne with 4 in that category. Harvey looks for Burston baseline. Bradkey denied him the ball. Now single numbers on the shot clock. Jackson takes it from Ben Thompson. Couldn't finish it initially. And Bradkey strong under the hoop. Doing a great job for the Tigers as Gaze takes it at Harvey, drawing a foul. That will be the 4th team foul on the Perth Wildcats in this term.
Back, Andrew, that's way too far.
Harvey now has his 5th personal.
Number 5 for the club machine.
That team's made substitutions. Hoare sits down, Darlow Green comes in. Ben Thompson and Jackson sit down. So Mike Ellis got good value from his bench players and now brings back Rashad Tucker.
You don't get any better minutes than Ben Thompson just gave you.
Gaze looking at Darlow Green and breakdown in communication. The Tigers turn it over for the 17th time. Perth has 15 turnovers. Also lead by 15. 5.5 minutes to play. Worrying now for the Melbourne Tigers. Harvey works it down low where Tony Ronaldson took his eye off the ball and made a rare mistake. Copeland, now Darlow Green. He's wanted it quickly. He didn't get it to him fast enough. Leonard Copeland from close range overcooked it. Thought he was fouled. Referees don't agree with him, and now Ricky Grace pushing the ball and goes uncontested in for the layup. Wildcats reach 3 figures and again enjoy a 17-point buffer. Loose ball out of court. Tigers come up with possession. Bradley back to Gaze. And James Harvey's out of the game. The 6th foul on James Harvey with 4:43 to play. That adds to the equation.
And that is the end for James Harvey. Let's hear it for the excitement. Terrific game.
Well, he played his heart out tonight. He didn't give Andrew anything. He played him physical. He found him in transition every time.
What about Leonard Copeland? Terrific game from him. He'll have a sit
Andrew
down.
Gaze with 16 points, and he's earned every single one of them tonight.
Harvey fouls out for the first time this year. Hasn't fouled out more than once in the season for the past 4. He's 5 with 5 from the strike. Still some work to do though. The Tigers trail by 15. Wildcats looking to work their way up from 8th position at the moment. Gaze steals the pass intended for Ben Thompson, takes Tucker on. Couldn't finish it though. Barlow Green falling out of court. Cops it up. Perth will get possession.
Good team by Rashad Tucker to make that very difficult for Andrew. I thought he had an advantage. I thought he could have played with his teammate a little bit more on a 2-on-1 break.
Barlow Green called for the foul, bouncing off Rashad Tucker. He fouled out in Brisbane on Wednesday night in 12 and a bit minutes, which is quick. Not as fast as Andrew Goodwin, who went out in 9:22 earlier this season in a match against the Victoria Giants. Grace against Daryl Corletto, who's checked in for his first minutes. Grace takes him on straight away. It comes up empty, and the Tigers need to get busy. Down by 15. 4 minutes to play from the Burswood Dome in front of almost 9,000 starting to join in. Gaze penetrating, it opens up for him and it tumbles. Chance at a 3-point play for Andrew.
Okay, basket's good. The basket's good. The foul's on Matty Burston. Andrew
Here it is in
Gaze.
replay. Burston called for the foul, his 4th. 21 fouls on Perth overall. Melbourne has committed 20.
See on the replay, Barlow Green came very close to tipping that one in. It would have been
Andrew Gaze.
2 shots. Andrews wouldn't have
There
counted.
goes the wave. Nice job.
Tigers back to within 12. That's as close as they have been since the concluding stages of the 3rd period. The Perth get the quick reply, as they inevitably have all night.
Ronaldson with another strong seal. He's done it all night.
Corletto off to Dave Thomas. There's not a lot of energy about Melbourne at the moment. They look fatigued. Radke with 5 on the shot clock goes back to Daryl Corletto, looking for his first 3 of the season. Comes up short. He's now none of 12. And another foul called on the Tigers. They're 4th in this term.
They have kept the Tigers at bay all night.
Barlow Green, sorry Steve, is out of the match as well. He fouls out in quick fashion.
Wow, that was quick.
Still there for the moment. Maybe it was his 5th. Have the advantage of the usual scoreboard here at the Burswood Dome. Ronaldson tries his luck from deep. No reply. Dave Thomas, the rebound. Hands off to Daryl Corletto. Darryl McDonald and Leonard Copeland sitting on the bench at the moment. It's Corletto and Gaze in the backcourt for the Tigers. Shot clock to 10 and now beyond as Barlow Green takes Ronaldson on. Now he's going to need some help. Dave Thomas wheels to the top of the key with a big play and knocks down the triple.
Outside, 3 points for him. 11
Might have to get Mark Slocum on how many shots he hits in the 4th quarter as compared to the first 3.
Next Friday's the home game.
Pressuring Tucker and now Ronaldson. Tigers desperate for a stop as they try and eat into this lead, but Tony Ronaldson's having a night out as he did the last time he played here 10 years ago. 20 for Ronaldson, closing in on his season high of 24, which came against Adelaide. Dave Thomas looks for Bradley. Didn't do him many favours with the pass. Single numbers on the shot clock as Burston knocks it out of court. Bradley just 8 points in the match, but has 12 rebounds to lead that category. Justin Barnes and John Jackson with 11. Carlo Green baseline, got it off quickly and successfully with a shot clock going off in the background. He becomes the 5th Melbourne Tigers player into double figures. Tigers unable to contain Perth at the offensive end. Here's Ronaldson with that bulk advantage again from close range. He's making it look like a training drill at the moment.
There's just nothing you can do other than send somebody. And Ronaldson's just dishing it out and giving it to open shooters.
Here's Burswood for the dunk.
A little showtime, Matty Burswood.
Fans on their feet here at the Burswood Dome as the Wildcats get out to a 15-point lead, and Matt Burston, swinging off the rim, salutes the 9,000.
They've had all the answers. They have played every aspect of this game well. Nothing easy for the Tigers. Every time they make a run, they just sharpen up the D and then get good shots.
Hey, guys, right now, if we think this game is over, you are sorely mistaken, all right? These guys should fill it up quick, defensively. Oh, we've got to make sure we know where they are. They're going to be looking at Jackson quick shots. Doesn't matter whether they're in a trap or not. Let's get you two up the front. You got it out of bounds, all right? Run our press break stuff anyway, all right? But guys, we've got to play it out. We've got to execute down that end. Get stops down this end, all right? Come on now.
Well, they put on a great show. Andrew Blahoff and the Perth Wildcats. They do one of the best pre and during game entertainments anywhere in the National Basketball League, and have done for many years. Hasn't impressed Lindsay Gaze. Well, that may be the scoreline, trailing by 15 with 1:18 to play.
I was like the crowd. I was watching the dancers because this thing is over.
Well, Melbourne fans can look forward to getting a ticket for the series decider between these teams on the 7th of February. Daryl Corletto gets his first points in the match. Looked confident going baseline. Willoughby, too late for the Melbourne Tigers. Gaze and Bradkey, only 2 starters on the floor for them at the moment. Wildcats have 4 starters. James Harvey's fouled out. Ben Thompson has his spot at the moment. The shot clock winds down now to 7, and Grace fires. Thought he was fouled, went down after the shot. Got no joy from the referees, and Corletto took his eye off the ball, gave Burston a chance, and the Tigers miss what should have been an easy 2. 109-96. 40 seconds to play. Here's Gates, down low, posting up Ben Thompson, may have got away with a hook. Corletto, still no reply. His long-range attempt. As Ronaldson goes to Tucker. Shot clock is going to be 6 seconds inside the game clock. Won't be long before the Wildcats are celebrating. Grace with it under control, guarded by David Smith, looks back door. Pass deflected by the foot of David Smith, will reset the shot clock. Now it's just a question of by how many the Perth Wildcats are going to beat Melbourne, remembering that Melbourne won in Perth by 17 earlier in the season, and what an exclamation point on the match as Rashad Tucker shows us his individual athleticism. Andrew Gaze is going to milk the clock. It's all over. The Perth Wildcats in front of a 9,000 strong home crowd have beaten the Melbourne Tigers by 15. Full time from the Burswood Dome. It's Perth 111. The Melbourne Tigers 96 here on Fox Sports. 27 points to 26 in the final term from Perth. They were able to win all 4 quarters against the Melbourne Tigers, and Mike Ellis and his team can celebrate their 5th consecutive win at home, and their overall record in Perth now 8-3 on the season. And they give Melbourne their 11th loss of the year, the same number of losses the Perth Wildcats have. So it's starting to tighten up in terms of a playoff race. And the Perth Wildcats with 4 championships in 17 consecutive years in the playoffs, well, they are making some noise of their own, not the least of which is coming from Rashad Tucker. Very exciting commodity. away once more. And Rashad Tucker continues to thrill the fans here in Perth, and their coverage through Fox Sports and ESPN Star Asia. Been a good one. And as they do on a regular basis, the Perth Wildcats players make their way into the stands to celebrate with the fans, and we've got Tony Ronaldson with Steve Carpino.
Well, Tony, defensively, that was as good as I've seen you guys play. You didn't give them anything easy.
Yeah, we finally got a win on Fox. It's bloody beautiful, isn't it? We've struggled all year defensively, but tonight, especially in the second half, I thought we really turned it up and didn't let them get going, I suppose. So they had a pretty tough road trip going to Brisbane first, and coming here, I heard Drewy complaining the other day that he had a 5.5 hour plane trip, and I said, I wish that was all we ever got, but yeah, so maybe their legs got a little bit in the end, but I thought that was one of the best games we played all year.
And you individually, you're unstoppable. You had your seal and your jump hook going. You had the one-legged step back. You had the threes going. Had the complete arsenal.
Yeah, look, I think I'm at my best when I play an inside-out game. Sometimes this year I've really struggled because I've started on the perimeter and tried to, and really got stuck out there. So I'm making a conscious effort to make it happen in the paint, and the rest of my game comes. So if I can do that for the rest of the year, hopefully I can get it going for the Wildcats.
And your subs coming off the bench. You're all on the same page tonight.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of the last couple of weeks. You look at a guy like Travis Lane, didn't play the whole first half, comes in, gives us quality minutes, and that's a sign of a quality team when you have people coming off the bench and contributing. And I thought we had that tonight.
All right, thanks, Tony.
Thanks a lot, Steve.
All right, the Perth Wildcats know it's the business time of the year. They can sense the playoffs are coming up.
Well, celebrations continue here in Perth as the Wildcats defeat the Melbourne Tigers by 15 points. Ricky Grace, a very popular figure here. In the final analysis, they got home 111 to 96, and they were very impressive in the way they went about it. Mitigating circumstances for the Melbourne Tigers, who are on a tough road schedule. They don't want to be appearing to be complaining, Steve, because every team struggles with a road scenario at some stage. The Tigers were just beaten by a better team on the night.
That's true, especially the magnitude of their road trip. They've got to be able to bounce back, and they've done that on a couple of occasions. But you're not going to beat the Perth Wildcats playing in front of their home crowd here in Western Australia. Wildcats are playing that well. They had everything going. Tony Ronaldson was working the inside. Matt Burston was picking up all those offensive rebounds and also hanging around the basket. He shot a high percentage. And then they were getting the basketball in transition. Rashad Tucker was excellent. Ricky Grace was excellent. James Harvey did a great job on Andrew Gaze.
And I guess when you look at their roster, there aren't too many teams in the NBL that would want to face the Wildcats in a one-off sudden death elimination final.
That's right, especially when they start to get rolling like they look like they did tonight. Ricky Grace just orchestrating everything that they wanted to do. They looked like the team last year as they were going into the playoffs, just absolutely hammered the Hawks going into the final against the Kings.
Well, let's have a look at how Perth did the job. They won all 4 quarters against the Melbourne Tigers, and they did it in so many different ways as well, led by James Harvey.
Well, that's right, Case. We talked about them getting the stops, and then they run transition out of that. It's as simple as that. They're shooting a high percentage because they're getting the stops. They're getting every offensive rebound. Then they're playing aggressive, too. They never really had to work with anything other than that 10-point cushion. They're doing a great job in hitting open shots. Every time they got an open one, they knocked it down. Ben Thompson right there. We talked about the guys coming out on the floor and being on the same page. Their substitutes did the job. Their rested players were their stars, and they did the job at the end whenever they had to count on them.
They've won the rebound count. They shot better than 50% from the field, and they are starting to loom as legitimate contenders here. Their confidence is up, and I'm sure there are quite a few nervous teams around the league.
Oh, there are. When Perth are executing like that, and they really have the experienced players, they have championship players in Ronaldson and Ricky Grace and James Harvey. Those guys have been there. So once they get a little roll going into the playoffs, they are very dangerous to anybody, especially coming here to Western Australia.
Yes, and obviously the Melbourne Tigers were a little tired coming off their Wednesday night clash against Brisbane, but they did mount a good challenge there, but just ran out of steam in the end. But the Melbourne Tigers, they had their moments as well.
They always do. They're an exciting team. That's why this was an exciting game to watch, because the Tigers never laid down. They just came against a team that had all the answers tonight, but pushing the break. They did a good job of staying in the game. They're only down 7 in the first half, and that was largely because they just know how to stay in touch, but they just ran into a freight train tonight in the Perth Wildcats.
Yes, the Melbourne Tigers will live to fight another day. Andrew Gaze finishes the match with 21 points. And of course, Mark Bradkey again down on his numbers, 8 points for Bradkey. He had 12 boards in a good display, but unless Neil Mottram can get back and get in shape and find a spot on this roster, the Tigers are going to find it hard to mix it with those bigger teams.
That's true, Case. You summed it up right there. Mark Bradkey, if he gets tired, if he's down on his numbers, the Tigers don't win, and they don't have an extra big man in rotation. Thalo Green, although he's a good big man, he was just getting housed by Tony Ronaldson. He's just not big enough.
Well, I know the Fox Sports viewers will be happy to know that we're doing Perth matches upcoming, because Rashad Tucker is always worth the price of admission alone.
That's for sure. I mean, that guy has more highlights than anybody in the competition. You saw him go coast to coast on that play, gets the rebound, gets the finish, and he can do just about anything. The good, strong finish there, and actually it's the offensive rebound. He's got the work ethic. He's always got that very determined look on his face. He is a player that is going to excite these fans here, not only in Western Australia, but around the country. And he is just a triple-double waiting to happen, and he is exciting to watch.
Yeah, 22 points from Rashad Tucker, and so much athleticism that he creates matchup problems for other teams. And Rashad Tucker hopefully will be a part of the NBL for some time. Leonard Copeland will again enjoyed his trip to Perth, not on the winning team, but Copeland 21 points. And when he got hot in the second period and knocked down that clutch of threes, well, the Melbourne Tigers were really motoring.
Well, he was shooting tough shots, and we mentioned how the Perth Wildcats didn't get discouraged with their tough defense. They kept it on him, even though Leonard Copeland hit some tough shots. They didn't get discouraged, and they were able to just continue to make Melbourne shoot tough shots, and they weren't able to knock them down, not able to stay around the 50% mark. And when Perth is rolling like they are, it's kind of tough to win when you're shooting a lower percentage.
Well, I'm sure the Wildcats are happy with the victory, but they'll be ecstatic with the fans that have arrived here. And it's easy for us to try and tell you at home the great atmosphere that they've generated, but there's a buzz all around Perth about this whole scenario of the Summer Jam.
This is a tremendous idea. They've done a fantastic job. The atmosphere is better than anything we've seen all year. Now, it's one thing to have a lot of people in the stands, but these people had a great time. They were standing up before the game started. They had a great time, gave the encouragement to their team, and now they're hanging around. They're going to have a little jam session with a band and music and dancing afterwards. Fantastic job.
Yes, and we hope everyone at home enjoyed our coverage, including all the viewers through Star ESPN in Asia. Maybe 100 million people getting to know you, Steve, and we're happy to know them.
That's right. I mean, what a great game to have to that many people. Every game is like this.
Well, let's tell our local fans what is upcoming here on your home of hoops in Australia, Fox Sports. And next Wednesday night, we're going to be heading to the West Sydney Razorbacks as they duel with the Perth Wildcats. We'll get another look at Rashad Tucker et al. As they head to Sydney Olympic Park Sports Centre from 7:30 p.m. Australian Daylight Saving Time. And the Tigers back up with a match against the Cairns Taipan from the Cage. That's coming your way Saturday, January 24. For all our Melbourne viewers, try and grab a ticket to that one against the Taipans. Andrew Gaze is going to set the NBL record games played. There'll be lots happening there. That should be a great atmosphere as well.
Yeah, no kidding. I think that this is just the league turning the corner with great atmosphere here in Perth. Hopefully everybody else will follow suit.
Yes, let's hope that is the case. Well, we trust you have enjoyed our coverage. We are out of time from the Burswood Dome in Perth. On behalf of Steve Carfino and 9,000 other people, I'm John Casey. We'll see you again soon here on Fox Sports.
One of the best games we've seen on Fox. Down by Sheridan, 7 on the shot clock. Rose looking to penetrate. Kelly gets a good look at the hoop from there.
I have never seen anything like it in my life.
And right into this match, and trust for enjoying our coverage right on.
The most unbelievable finish you have seen for some time.
I can watch that one 10 more times.
This has been a Fox Sports production. The fourth test from South Africa continues with day 3 as the home side takes on